Welcome, welcome, welcome to our video for today, or should I say our class. Today I have a block under my head which I'll be using. You could use a pillow or a cushion or fold up a towel, and I've also got a strap, and if you haven't got a strap then you could use something like a belt or a towel. You can use that as well. So we're going to be focusing on a little bit of legs today, just stretching off and getting those hips a little bit loose. So let's come down onto the back. So I like to have a little block under my head. So sometimes when people are in this position and they've got their leg up in the air, if you're really tight in the back of the leg, so perhaps your leg's there, and sometimes it can cause these shoulders to round and stuff. So just having a block under the head can help keep you a bit more relaxed in the shoulders. So as I've got my right leg in, let's start with that one. And the first thing I want you to notice is your kneecap. So if your knee is bent, I want you to send your leg away from you. Really try and encourage that straightness. So engage your kneecaps and then bring the leg in towards you. So this is my less flexible leg. It's a bit more pulley and stiff. I can feel it there. Now, what I want you to notice is, so for me in this position, although I can feel on the back of the leg, I'm not struggling to hold it here. So what I can do to intensify that a bit more is straighten the left leg. Now I'm feeling it a bit more. So see how it feels with a straight left leg. But if you find that you land up being all stressed and in a funny alignment, then just bend your left leg a little bit. What it does is it just tilts the pelvis and gives you a bit more room. So find the position where you feel there's tension, there's a little bit of discomfort, but you're not crying with pain or anything like that. Remember, we don't want pain when we're stretching, we're just after discomfort. And we're going to hold it here. And I want you to start to bring awareness to the back of your leg. And that discomfort wants to be quite intense, but not until you've got tears in your eyes. So I'm at about a 6 at the moment. So 5 would be, I'm just starting to feel it. 6 is, oh yes, now it's getting a little bit more But I also know that my right leg is a little bit more stiff than my left leg. So I know that I'm not going to push it too much with the right leg. The muscle is not as flexible as the left side. And I'm just going to keep focusing on engaging this knee. So be mindful if your knee starts to bend, because what happens is your hamstrings at the back, they want to be lengthened. So this is what's happening now. We're stretching them off. But if you start to bend your leg, you're going to lose some of that stretch. So we really want to make sure that we're engaging the kneecap. And what we're going to start to do now is really flex the foot. So the foot is when your toes start to go towards your face. So that's pointing when your toes go up to the ceiling. Now you're taking the toes towards the face. Ooh, yes. And hopefully you can feel it round the back of the calf somewhere. Let's just hold it for another 5 breaths. Scan your body from the head. Make sure the face is nice and relaxed, your neck, your shoulders. A couple of more breaths. And each exhale, that can be the point where you try to bring it in a little bit closer towards you. And this is about as much flexibility as you need. This would be classed as an acceptable range, if I could call it that. You don't need any more. So sometimes you get people that want to touch the floor behind you. That's not particularly good for the pelvis, for the stability of the hips. So this is a good functional range, is the position that I'm in quite intensely. Good. Oh, like I said, my right side is my more challenging side, so you'll probably also notice that. Right, let's bring the left leg in. And again, see how you feel with your left leg straight. Do you feel like you're struggling to hold the leg up there? Or if you have a little bit of space, perhaps you can straighten that right leg. And then flex your left foot and bring the leg towards you. So again, I'm not after screaming my head off or breaking out into a sweat All I want to do is feel the back of the leg pulling. I just want to feel that lengthening sensation, the stretching sensation. And it wants to be a little bit more uncomfortable than just, I can feel it, okay? So, and you might notice this leg can go a tiny bit further. And again, my goal is not to try and put the toes on the floor behind me. I just want to give the muscles a nice stretch. And again, we're just going to settle here. Flex your foot, curl the toes towards the face. What that also does is it tells the knee to engage a little bit more. When that happens, the front of your leg engages more, and then your brain tells the back of the leg that the muscles need to lengthen. So it's kind of using the body to help you stretch. And we're just staying there. You'll notice your discomfort eases after a little bit. Once that eases, then perhaps you can take it in a little bit further. So not only are we working with the muscle, we're also working with the connective tissues of the body. I'm not a big fan of hamstring stretches because mine are really tight as well. But I always do find a big relief in the lower back as well when I do stretching. So we're just going to stay here a few more breaths. Every now and again, just make sure that your knee is nice and straight. Last breath. Keep those toes actively curling back. Good. And then bend your leg for a moment. Just bring the other one in. So now what I want you to do is I'm going to go back to my right leg because that's my tighter leg. That's the leg that's a little bit more stiff. And we're going to go back to your more challenging side. So yours might be the left, it might be the right, it might be different, okay? So pick whichever leg it is and take it up towards the ceiling. So one thing about Pilates is we are trying to bring balance to the body. So if we're doing the same on both sides, then we're not bringing balance to the body. So what we want to do now is just spend a little bit of extra time on your tighter side so that helps to bring balance. And we're going to settle there. So if I was, maybe a dancer or something that really required those hamstring flexibilities, then I'd be doing a lot more work on my right side so that it meets the left side's flexibility, if you can call it that. And we're going to stay here for 10 breaths. So feel it in the back of the leg. Find that point where it's like, oh, yes, I can feel it there. The knee is nice and straight. You're flexing your foot back. And now we're just going to hold it. Relax your neck, your jaw, your shoulders. 7 breaths. You'll find after a while that you can pull it in. It might only be like a millimeter, but you can bring it in a little bit further. So the discomfort wants to stay at about a 7 the whole time. Scan your body every now and again, just a few breaths left. Again, depends on how fast you breathe. But just be aware of tension creeping into the body. It's very hard for the body to stretch when you lock it with tension. Let's have 2 more. And then bend to your other leg. Bend the other one, and then just take the strap off and just give your legs a little hug. So we've stretched off the back of the legs. We're now going to get those hips a little bit mobile. And I'm just going to give you a few options of how you can have the leg that we're going to work with. So I'm going to start with the right leg because that's closest to you. So your left leg, you're going to straighten it down to the end of the mat and then take it out to the side a little bit. You're going to flex the foot back and then push it in. And what that's going to help is to stabilize the pelvis a little bit. So options for you. You can either have, sometimes I find, like if I've got clients that have got really big boobs or bellies and they've got short arms, they can't reach the leg. So you can have the strap behind the leg. So one option is to just let this leg hang, and you can do circles like that, which is actually quite nice in the hip, and your arms are guiding the movement. Okay. The next option is to take the strap away. This is another one I like. So the knee's directly above the hip and the leg is bent, and you can do your circles that way. That's quite nice if someone's very tight in the back of the legs. Another option is to have the leg up towards the ceiling, leg circles, and the hardest one is to have the leg up with no strap. So I'm actually going to go with that one for today. So right leg is up, left leg is straight down to the end of the mat, slightly to the left, just so it's at an angle, and then push your heel down into the floor, and hopefully you can feel the left side tense up a little bit. Now I'm going to put my hands on my hip bones because I'm trying to stop my hips rolling all over the place. Imagine you have a piece of chalk on your kneecap, and we're going to start with just drawing a little circle the size of a 50 cents, 50 pence. It's about that big. Okay, so what you want to notice, so I'm going to exaggerate it, is everything like rocking all over the place, or are you nice and still? And if you're nice and still, then let's make that circle about the size of a frisbee. Being aware that your shoulders are not tensing up. So all I'm feeling with my fingers is there any excessive movement? And if that feels okay, maybe we can go to the size of a, I don't know what else is really big and round. A gong. You get different sizes. So again, all we are trying to do is just move inside of the hip without the hip moving. So my left leg is helping to anchor me down a little bit. Change direction. And again, this is just to get inside of your hip. So if the leg is straight, you're going to feel it a lot more if there's no band on the leg. So it can be quite a strong movement if you don't have a band. Good. Let's do a couple more circles. And then bring the leg in, and we'll switch sides. So hopefully if you didn't have a band or anything, you'll feel the front of your leg also working a little bit. So taking the right leg to the side, push the heel down, and bring the left out. So do the same as you did with one leg as you did with the other. Let's start with that little 50 pence or 50 cents or a ping pong ball. If that feels quite stable, then go a little bigger. And start to think of hugging your tummy down towards the floor. I'm cramping in my baby toe. So I can feel I'm a little bit more unstable on this side compared to what I was like on the other side. So what I'm going to try and do is anchor down more. I'm going to try and do bigger circles. And even though I'm moving a little bit more than I'd like to be moving, I'm really trying not to move. So you are still innervating those muscles. You're still working the muscles. What you don't want to do is just be lying there just shaking everything. Okay, as long as you're trying and you are engaging everything. So I do know I've got a weakness on the right-hand side. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I've had a really bad foot injury. And it's taken a very long time to heal. And of course, that affects your whole body. So this side is a lot more challenging. I don't know if it looks like that on camera, but I feel like I'm all over the place. Good. I don't know if I said change direction, but and then once the leg comes back, give it a little hug and then release. Marvelous. So bringing yourself into a seated position. So again, if you wanted to, you could go and do leg circles on the other side. For me, it's just about actually the hip mobility that I'm focusing on today. So I hope you enjoyed your class for today, and I look forward to sharing another video with you soon. Take care.